Dr. Kiiza Besigye throws fire to court-martial judge. Why am I here?
Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, have you had understood the charge read to you on count 4?
Yes, I have.
Do you accept or don't accept?
Don't.
A plea of not guilty entered on count 4. Hajj Obadiah Tali, have you had understood the charge read to you on count 4?
I have.
Do you accept or don't accept?
I don't.
A plea of not guilty entered.
Our objection would not benefit from that representation in itself, so that the ruling comes after I have had a representation. A law has been quoted as to why we should be subject to this court. I don't have the laws with me. I cannot respond. My lawyers haven't been briefed. I think it would be unfair to make a ruling before we have had the benefit of legal representation in that.
I want to be on record that we have not had access to the accused persons. We needed to have, first of all, instructions, and also to have an interaction with the accused persons to get to understand the nature of the offenses and or the entire story about this matter. So professionally, it becomes a bit difficult for us to proceed with the representation of the accused persons without having those preliminary engagements. And as you know, Mr. Chairman, lawyers act on instructions, and the instructions come with the sufficient information on how they can be represented. So all we know, Dr. Besigye and a colleague traveled to Nairobi, and we don't know, we are not aware how he ended up here. So it becomes extremely difficult for us to proceed under those circumstances. We thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I think, Colonel, since you are in the court, whatever the decision may be taken now, that one will be a ruling. So you are not represented, but I don't think that that one has a problem, because the ruling will be, as Judge Advocate has said, to continue or not to continue with considering your objections. So I don't think that one will affect. Maybe Mayor J.A. was asking, in what capacity did you submit it? As a volunteer, as a friend, or as their lawyer?
Mr. Chairman, we've been searching for the whereabouts of Dr. Besigye since he got missing. And we learned that he's being brought here. And as you are aware, there are so many parties that are concerned with this matter. And as one of the lawyers who are concerned in this matter, I had to step in to ensure that justice is done. But as whether I have instructions from him or not, that is the matter which is subject to a pronouncement, a decision of this honorable court. And I've put a disclaimer on that. I have not interacted with him, much as I've been a lawyer in search for his whereabouts.
Ruling on objection by Colonel Retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye and another to be tried by General Court Martial. The two accused persons were brought before this court for pre-taking and raised objection on the ground that they are civilians and therefore cannot be tried by this court. In reply, Counsel Raphael Mujshala and Counsel for the State submitted that jurisdiction to try a person not otherwise subject to military law is provided under Section 117 of the Updf Act. this court has looked at section 117 G and H of the UPDF Act and finds that the accused persons are subject to military law.
But it's a UPDF Act, not a Civilians Act. UPDF is not a UPDF officer, and his friend is not a UPDF officer. So how could you subject someone to UPDF Act when he's not an UPDF member? Common sense.
The objection is therefore overruled. We so rule.
Oh, these are acts of dictatorship in our country, Uganda. Imagine you quoting a UPDF Act. Is supposed to serve UPDF officers, non-civilians. And the current Dr. Kiiza Besigye plus a friend who they were abducted together in Kenya. They are all civilians. And you are quoting a UPDF Act to civilians. Imagine. Who educated these people? This is dictatorship.
The Republic of Uganda, Uganda People's Defense Forces, and the General Court Martial holding at Makinde, Kampala. Criminal case number UPDF /GCM /040 of 2024. A charge sheet. Uganda versus A1 ROV 0098, Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye, a male adult of sound mind, aged 67 years, resident of Kasangati Town, Nangawo Sub-County, Nansana Municipality, Waxo District, a person subject to military law by virtue of Section 117, subsection 1HI of the UPDF Act, Cap 330, and A2 Hajj Obeid Rutale, a male adult of sound mind, aged 65 years, a resident of Mutundo Village, Mutundo Parish, Makinde Sabagabo Sub-County, Busiro County, Waxo District, a person subject to military law by virtue of Section 117, subsection 1, HI of the UPDF Act, Cap 330, are hereby charged with statement of offense on count 1. Offenses relating to security contrary to Section 128, subsection 1F of the UPDF Act, Cap 330. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye, Hajj Obedia Rotale, and others still at large between October 2023 and November 2024, while in cities to wit Geneva in Switzerland, Athens in Greece, and Nairobi in Kenya, held meetings aimed at soliciting for logistical support and identifying military targets in Uganda with intent to prejudice the security of the defense forces.
Now, if the case was done several months back, and Dr. Kiiza Besigye has been living in Uganda all those months, why you never arrested him in Uganda and waited him to go in Kenya, then you abduct him? What's behind here? What the issue behind here? How can you arrest somebody in a foreign country? Yet he committed the offenses in those foreign countries at the first place. He came back home in Uganda, and you knew that the guy has committed the offense in Greece, Athens, in Italy, in Kenya. He came back home. You never arrested him. You wait for him to go back and you abduct the guy. What's the meaning of this? We yet to know.
Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 1?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
Don't.
A plea of not guilty entered. Haj Obeidia Rotary, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 1?
Yes.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
I don't accept.
A plea of not guilty entered. Statement of offense on count 2. An unlawful possession of firearms contrary to section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, Cap 320. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye, Haj Obeidika Rotary, on 16th November 2024, while at Riverside Apartments in Nairobi, Kenya, were found in an unlawful possession of a pistol model 27 KAL number 765, which is ordinarily the monopoly of the Defense Forces.
Now, this pistol is a monopoly of the Defense Forces of Kenya or Uganda. If I'm in possession of a firearm and I'm in Kenya, am I supposed to be abducted by General Museveni, or am I supposed to be arrested by Kenyan government and be charged in a Kenyan courts? Because this is where I've been found with a gun and they're not sure where I got it, and I'm not supposed to be with a gun. So why was he abducted from Kenya to Uganda? Is that hotel a Ugandan facility? As in the jurisdictions of Ugandan government? Questions are rising here, and we yet to know the truth.
Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 2?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
Don't.
A plea of not guilty entered on count 2. Haji Obedia Rotary, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 2?
Yes.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
I don't.
A plea of not guilty entered on count 2. Count 3, statement of offense. An unlawful possession of firearms contrary to section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, Cap 320. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye, Haj Obedia Rotary, on 16th November 2024, while at Riverside Apartments in Nairobi, Kenya, were found in an unlawful possession of a pistol HP 1014-1953, which is ordinarily the monopoly of the Defense Forces. Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 3?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
Don't.
A plea of not guilty entered. Haj Obeid Rotary, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 3?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
I don't.
A plea of not guilty entered on count 3. Count 4, statement of offense. An unlawful possession of ammunition contrary to section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, Cap 320. Particulars of offense. Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye, Haj Obeid Rotary, on 16th November 2024, while at Riverside Apartments in Nairobi, Kenya, were found in an unlawful possession of 08 rounds of pistol ammunition, which are ordinarily the monopoly of the Defense Forces. So, Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 4?
Yes, I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept? Don't. A plea of not guilty entered in count 4. Haj Obediah Tali, have you had understood the charge read to you in count 4?
I have.
Do you accept or you don't accept?
I don't.
A plea of not guilty entered.
The first count talks about acts allegedly committed in Athens, Greece, Nairobi, and elsewhere. And Mr. Chairman, this honorable court has no jurisdiction whatsoever to deal with offenses allegedly committed in Greece, Kenya, and Switzerland. Mr. Chairman, that applies to count 2, which talks about Riverside apartment in Nairobi, where it's alleged that on the 16th of November this year, the accused persons were found in possession of a pistol, model 27 KAL number 765. And also count 3, which talks about the same place, Riverside apartment in Nairobi, Kenya. And count 4, the same place, which talks about ammunition. It's nowhere in these charges, there is nowhere in this charge sheet where it's alleged that all these acts, the impandi acts, were committed within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, that is the territory of Uganda. Mr. Chairman, this court has got no universal jurisdiction for the entire world. That would be stretching the jurisdiction of this honorable court to levels of absurdity, that it can deal with any matter that is alleged to have been done, or any act or offense that is alleged to have been committed anywhere in the world. I would refer you, Mr. Chairman, to the provisions of Article 28, Clause 7, which provides that no person shall be charged with or convicted of a criminal offense which is founded on an act or omission that did not, at the time it took place, constitute a criminal offense. So in this particular case, Mr. Chairman, all the acts referred to here in this charge sheet, or highlighted in this charge sheet, do not constitute criminal offenses within the meaning of the laws of Uganda, because the UPDF Act applies to Uganda and doesn't apply anywhere else. The boundaries of its application, the boundaries of the UPDF Act, are the confines of the territory of Uganda. It does not extend to Kenya, neither does it extend to Switzerland or Geneva. It is not a law applicable there. It's the reason here, Mr. Chairman, in the charge sheet, which we find to be incurably defective, it does not make reference to the laws of those respective countries where these acts are alleged to have been committed. Unlawful possession of firearms, contrary to Section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, Cap 320. Firearms Act of which country? Because we are talking about here Riverside, Kenya. And in law, this is considered to be a duplex charge sheet, which is ambiguous in nature. So the accused persons cannot understand the nature of the particulars of the charge sheet as they are spelled out in these particular counts. Because, Mr. Chairman, you are talking about Firearms Act of which country? Then we are talking about in County 4 on 16th of November 2024, while at Riverside Apartments in Nairobi, Kenya, Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye and Haji Obedi Rutale were found in unlawful possession of 8 rounds of pistol ammunition, which are ordinarily the monopoly of the defense forces. Of which country? Because we are talking about Riverside Apartment in Kenya. Are they a monopoly of the UPDF or KDF? In which case, this would determine the nature of the pulley given by the accused persons as to whether the acts amount to an offense or not. So this is a defective charge sheet, Mr. Chairman, which should not sustain any criminal proceedings before this honorable tribunal.
Oh, this was wonderful. You charge somebody being in possession of ammunitions, fire alarms, which are a property of the army, of the UPDF, Uganda People Defense Forces. But those ammunitions, fire alarms, were in a different country. Now, were these possessions necessarily in Uganda? The guys were not in Uganda. The UPDF tribunal only works in Uganda. The fire alarms were in Kenya. The UPDF Act, even the tribunal, does not apply in Kenya. Now, you arrest someone in Kenya because he possessed fire alarms and ammunitions, which are a military military store. Now, these are military store for Kenya, for Uganda. Do you have really the capacity? Are you really fit to charge Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, or you're just wasting our time?